listeners, and welcome to Takedown Breakdown. My name is Lyle Gillen, and I am your host today. Josh Silverberg is not in the studio, so only today. Thank you, Josh. But we have a great show tonight. I would like to start off by thanking Sean for the Raw tickets. I had to leave a little bit early to come here and do the show, but I'd like to thank you for the tickets, and on behalf of all the people that won, I would like to say thank you for them too. We have a great show. We're going to be talking about the New Japan Power Struggle. We're going to talk AEW Full Gear and preview that. We're also going to be talking a little bit about WWE. And I think we have a surprise for you tonight, which I don't even know the details, but someone's going to be calling in and telling us a surprise. Hopefully they do it soon, because I really want to know. But I have to say something, because the last time I was here by myself, and it was me and Ron, I said something to Ron. I said, I think the Nationals can beat the Milwaukee Brewers, and then I said, I think we could beat the Los Angeles Dodgers. Both those things have happened.
These are his glory, folks.
And now,
Nationals won.
My Washington Nationals are World Series champions.
Wow.
It's amazing. And I still can't believe it actually happened. And I'm it's surreal.
Take a bow.
Oh, you should. Oh, I think we have a caller.
Yeah, hold on.
So Ron's gonna fix the phone. Sorry, Ron's taking a little bit. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi there. First time, long time. This is Mark Bukowski just calling in. No. I just want to say one thing. Nobody gives a rat's you-know-what that the Washington Nationals in the state of New York won the World Series.
Well,
but
I care.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you, Lyle. I threw congratulations at you. I threw it at you. I said you deserved it. I said... I threw it at you. I was the first one to wish you congratulations on the win right after the pitch happened. I sent you the text. But then I digress. Nobody really cares except for you. But that's all fine and dandy. So just wanted to let reality sink in. You did win, but who do you have to celebrate it with?
Me and about 3 other National fans I know in New York, and my drunken self.
There you go. So you see, that's it. The little cult. It's like a cult. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works.
I actually have about 70 Nationals fans that I'm in a group chat with on Twitter, and it's been a lot of fun the last 4 days or so.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm just saying, though. You know, when you celebrate it, you get to celebrate the people that you're close with, that you love, that you're next to.
Hello?
Nationals, as I said, deserved it. They won. They won all the road games. They earned it. So, Ron, let him be in his glory. Let him what he wants. Let him showboat all that he can say. You know, just hope that Strasburg and Rendon and all those boys come back.
Well, they have over $100 million in room up until they hit the luxury tax. So they should. I think they'll be able to sign Strasburg and Rendon, but
don't ever assume.
You're right. I know what you're going to say, but
don't ever assume. You're 0 for 2 on assuming. Don't count the chickens
before they hatch.
That's it. You're 0 for 2 for assuming. So
you're right about that one.
Even if they left, they got them a world championship.
Exactly. I'm not going to be upset about it.
That's exactly what it is. Okay, so I know you brought up the surprise and everything that's going to be unfolding. So, of course, all the listeners that listen to us on WHPC, we've been talking about the SCE tailgate, which is a ginormous tailgate that they have every year. Rob hosts it every year during WrestleMania weekend. So I want to give him credit. I want to say his name in full because I want to give him credit. Rob Francis, for those of you that don't know him on Facebook, one of the nicest people you could possibly have a conversation with. I could tell you that firsthand. Gave me his direct number. We've been texting nonstop tonight, and details are finalized. Everything is done. We have our spot to do our Takedown Breakdown special live from Tampa. Rob is going to be giving us the table. which is awesome. He will be letting us have a table to put our equipment down, and we are going to have our own space at his tailgate that he is saving for us. And we are going to get there before the crowd gets there to set up. And Rob has lent us time to have our show, Takedown Breakdown, live from Tampa, right at his tailgate, which this year they're doing a gender reveal. So it's going to be epic, as it was this past year at New Jersey, where we couldn't even get in. But at least this year we will be there, Lyle. So I wanted to share that cool news that Takedown Breakdown will be outside sports and at the tailgate, which is huge for Takedown Breakdown. And Rob will be a guest on the show. He said he would love to come on with us and talk to us. So he's ecstatic about it.
That is great news. Wow, it's crazy. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Thank you for sharing with us, Josh.
No problem. I wanted to really, like I said, I've been talking to him all night. I'm going to get back to him Thanksgiving. Everything is pretty much finalized. He said he already has the map of where he's going to place our spot. It's going to be kind of guarded off a little bit so it doesn't get too crazy about where we are. Of course, we have our friend Matt, who's going to be joining us as well. And Rob's going to be a guest on our show. And like I said, we're going to get there before the crowd gets there so we can set up everything. And we'll be having Takedown Breakdown live outside of Raymond James right before WrestleMania at arguably the biggest tailgate wrestling has to offer. So it's going to be very epic. It's going to be cool, and it's going to be exciting. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. So do you plan to stay on and talk a little bit, or are you going to hop right off?
No. I could stay on for a couple of minutes. I had to do wedding stuff tonight, so I literally was slingboxing it on the way home. On the way home, watching Raw and everything. That's why I was texting you and stuff like that. This is the most excited I think I've been for a WWE pay-per-view in quite some time. I mean, three of the matches have been announced so far. You got the women's match with Shayna Baszler, Becky Lynch, and Bayley, which is going to be epic in my opinion. Those three, it's one of the top, are the top women wrestlers, three of the top women wrestlers that they have on the roster today. And I think if you saw, obviously, Lyle, you were there, you saw the interview between Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch. It was perfect.
That was great.
They brought Ronda Rousey's name to it, and Baszler kind of threw a shot at Rousey, and Becky didn't care that it was this. Personally, I think the person that's going to come on top is going to be Bayley. Is going to be the one I think winds up stealing it somehow. That's what I think is going to wind up happening, because she's the one that's she's the kind of the third wheel and the forgotten one. And then you got the tag team match that was announced tonight: the Revival versus War Raiders versus Undisputed Era. The Revival are slowly becoming a top tag team in the business, and of course, you got your Ring of Honor, New Japan days of Red Dragon and War Machine. So it's a rivalry that's renewed from back then. So these guys know each other very well. And I got to tell you, I think if Rey Mysterio and Brock Lesnar is booked correctly, first off, I think it's going to be a very good match because Brock does very well against smaller guys. I don't know why, but it flows better for him. As I said to you in the text, with Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and Seth Rollins, and when I have a guy like Rey Mysterio. Now, do I think Rey Mysterio will win the match? I mean, look, if they book it correctly, I don't know if you remember in 2004 at No Way Out, everybody was expecting for WrestleMania 20, everybody was expecting Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 20, and out of nowhere, Eddie Guerrero beats Brock Lesnar because Goldberg got involved. So Eddie Guerrero shocked everybody and beat Brock Lesnar in that match. That wasn't something everybody thought would happen, and it did. You think about it, if they book it correctly and they do it the right way, maybe you get Dominic to be a distraction. Maybe somehow maybe Cain Velasquez comes out and distracts him. All of a sudden, Rey Mysterio wins the match. It's booked really well. You got yourself a nice little match there, and you got Rey Mysterio, who I think has earned the right to have one more run as a champion in this company. I think his Hall of Fame caliber career deserves it. And why not top it off with him beating Brock Lesnar in a match? I don't see the problem with it. I think it adds an element to the story of what Rey Mysterio is, which is the underdog role. And it's something that nobody expects. Nobody expects Brock to lose to Rey Mysterio. That's the point. Nobody expected Goldberg to beat Brock in 30 seconds a couple years ago. It was the element of surprise. If you book it the right way and you book it correctly, you got yourself a 5-star match. And the idea of NXT being a part of it this year, fantastic idea by WWE to really get them involved. And don't forget, the night before you got War Games.
Yes,
take that into account. So
the one thing I thought of tonight is WWE having NXT be part of this, so then they can try and increase their casuals, which I'm going to call their casuals as people who only watch Raw and SmackDown. They're casuals to see NXT and try and watch that more to try and get more viewers over AEW.
Well, that's the point, because the thing about it is, as you said, they're casual fans, so they only tune into Raw or SmackDown. The funny thing is, NXT is the best show out of the 3 shows. I mean, obviously you have the War Games card right now. You got Shayna Baszler's team going up right now against Rhea Ripley's team. They're the teaching captains. I could see Undisputed Era being in another War Games match against Tommaso Ciampa's team. I could see Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano having a match, which would be just epic and ridiculous. It would have been kind of cool to see Seth Rollins join NXT. I would have enjoyed that because, to be honest with you, Seth Rollins has nothing to lose and everything to gain in NXT right now, because NXT is the hottest thing going. Why not join the hot product? I think he would fit in perfectly with NXT, if I do say so, because you look at the roster, Rollins can have feuds with billion guys on there. Rollins can be the head of NXT. As to who would you say the head of AEW is right now? Kenny Omega?
Yeah, I think it's very much Kenny Omega is their top star. He might not be in the position of their top star, but he's definitely their most talented guy.
And I'm saying, who are the 2 guys that have talked the most crap to each other the last few weeks? Seth Rollins and Kenny Omega, right?
Oh, 100%.
Why not have the 2 of them just go head-to-head Wednesday nights? Why not?
I think Vince is too scared to do that. I don't think he wants the guy that they put out there. After PWI put out there he was the top guy, then they agreed and said, yep, he's the best wrestler in the world. Then I don't think they have the balls to put him on. Well,
I mean, I wouldn't say that they wouldn't have that. I mean, look, I think it can only benefit Vince and NXT because it takes ratings away from AEW. If you put Seth Rollins on as a draw in NXT, I think if you let Triple H recreate his character, maybe Triple H says, okay, maybe he worked as a heel. Let's make him a heel in NXT and let's see how he does. Going back to that authority kind of figure where he could be like Triple H's like kind of assistant or whatever it is. Remember when he was always the guy that would help? Triple H would always help him. He would help Triple H. Something like that to just think about. I don't think it's going to happen either. But we'll see. I'm kind of curious what they do with the championship. Now that Brock's in a championship match, maybe Brock puts on double duty. Possibly that night, Sunday night, because they're going to have a champion versus champion, I would imagine, versus champion match, NXT versus Universal versus WWE champion, unless, so far, the only 2 guys that don't have a match that are the champions are Adam Cole and Bray Wyatt. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that would be an unbelievable, top-notch match. If you can get, here's the beauty of having NXT involved. You can make matches up the wazoo with these rosters. It's an endless amount. You're just adding idea after idea for each match, and it just, you could, as a fan, you could salivate over it. You go, oh my God, this is great. I mean, I could possibly see. I mean, I'm thinking about it now. The endless ideas that I could see Daniel Bryan versus Johnny Gargano in a match. I mean, my God, that's a wrestling fan's dream. If you could see something like that. I mean, I could see Tommaso Ciampa going, I don't know, he beat The Miz on Friday, so I don't care with that. I could see like a Tommaso Ciampa versus Seth Rollins match. That's what I'm saying? It's just an endless amount of ideas that just spring between the 3 brands going at it. And it makes for curiosity. And I'm wondering if they get involved at War Games. Does Raw and SmackDown show up at War Games? To try to destroy their show. So you know what I'm saying? So it kind of adds an element. Does Becky and Bayley come in and interfere in the War Games match with Baszler? it's just things you think about and you go back and forth on it. But you know, I was going to talk about power struggle with you and everything later. I mean, with you, but I think you want to talk about it later, unless you want to do it now. I enjoyed it very much. New Japan. I thought it was great. I loved every bit of it. The fact that Takahashi's back to face Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay threw an interesting idea. He says, "How about night one? Why don't we be the main event of night one for Wrestle Kingdom? Since I've carried this division for how long now?" He tweeted that out. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, it won't.
But I mean, it's not a terrible idea. You know, I mean, maybe you could have it be night two closing out, because night one's going to be Ibushi Okada, but why not night two? You know what I'm saying? Is that really the worst thing in the world to have night two be, you know, I think they already put it as night one, but, you know, I think Wrestle Kingdom's got a lot of juice going this year. I like the idea of the 2 days. I think obviously Naito and White are going to have their match. And I don't know what your predictions are. I'm sure you'll say it later on. I probably won't be around to hear it, but we'll definitely talk more about it next week. But there's just so many, because like I said, we have time before Wrestle Kingdom. That's the crazy thing. They got 2 more months to do matches before they could set it up. But Chris Jericho coming out challenging Tanahashi, big. I think that's a match he can win, Jericho. Tanahashi, I think, could put him over. You never know, but I don't see why Tanahashi's been putting guys over the last few months. If you've noticed, he put over Jay White. He put over Zack Sabre Jr. at G1. So why not put Jericho over, who's the AEW champion? I just think the card is stacked. Of course, you got Ibushi and Okada on top of it, and the winner of that match faces the winner of probably Naito and White the next night. So it's going to be a great card. I think I'm glad that Takahashi's back from his serious neck injury. His promo was hysterical. I loved it, especially when Will Ospreay put the mic in his mouth. That was funny. When he asked for a mic when he was flipped over, that was cool. But it's just the whole thing was great. The junior tag team final was awesome. And now you know what it's going to be for Wrestle Kingdom. So I think the whole thing is wrestling right now is in a very good place. It's in a great place, and it's positive. I can even talk positive about WWE. It's refreshing for sure.
Yeah. See, one of the guys that in New Japan who every time I watch a New Japan show, I just like him more and more and more is Jay White. I think he's just, every single show he's just getting better and better and better.
He's growing on you.
Oh my! I liked him for a while, but now I love him. He's so much fun to watch. So
he's
entertaining.
Not the best in the ring. He's not, and the thing is, they can't try to make him into a Kenny Omega because he's just not that. Yeah. But he's still a very good guy to have on the roster.
He's a very good heel too.
I know at one time they were trying to make him a Kenny Omega when Omega left. I mean, you can't make a Kenny Omega. It's very difficult to do the charisma along with the agility and assets that he has in the ring alone. It's tough to have those two. So to try to do something like that is...
What I really am interested in with Wrestle Kingdom is Night 2. Because they've really started to show what they're going to do with Night 1. But what's their plan for Night 2?
Night 1's pretty much set.
Yeah, they showed what they were. They showed what they want to do. They haven't made anything official yet. But what they have been showing what they want to do. And I really want to know what they're going to do Night 2. That's my biggest thing. And I think...
Well, they have a few planned already. I know Jericho said January 5th. So that's going to be Night 2.
He said 4th.
No, I think he said 5th in his promo. He said 5th in the promo. I will look back on it, but he said the 5th in his promo. I remember it. And the announcers even said it. Kevin Kelly even had said it to it. That's Night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom. So
maybe he did. I thought he said 4th.
Yeah, so because Night 1's already stacked. You're going to have Naito White. You're going to have Ibushi Okada. You're going to have Takahashi and Ospreay.
So
it's just too stacked already. I think it's better to fit.
I think Jericho we're going to get Naito versus Ibushi, and winner is dual champion. And my opinion
my question is, what does Okada do then for Night 2?
He'll probably be in a tag match. Like that's what they do. But that's probably what You're not wrong, but
I don't know.
I think
I'd rather him be in a singles match, but that's just me.
I think it'll be Ibushi versus Naito, number 3, and I think Ibushi's going to win, and I think Kenny Omega's going to come out and congratulate him, but because, you know, Kenny Omega can still do some New Japan shows. I don't think he'll have a match, but I think he'll make an appearance and give him a hug and raise his hand and have a moment with him.
He'll be a dual champion too, which is a big deal. He'll be a dual champion, which is huge. I mean, that's something you don't see,
especially in New Japan.
I don't know if New Japan has ever done that. I don't think they've ever done a dual champ. Yeah, they've never had. So Ibushi should be the first one. Will be huge, and don't forget Jushin Liger's last match too.
Yeah, I really want to know who he's going to be facing for his last match.
Yeah, I don't know yet either.
I think it'll be
not sure. Maybe he faces Okada.
That could be. That would be a great.
Maybe he does. Maybe he says, I want to challenge Okada. I mean, that could be a case. I mean, if Okada loses, he has nothing planned night 2. I mean, it's not impossible. I could definitely see Okada being respectful and having the match with him. The only thing I don't want to see is him versus Muda because they're both almost 60 years old.
I still think they could pull off the match.
I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't like to have guys their age in the ring together. I've seen it too many times, and it never works.
But
I know it's in Japan, but it never works.
With guys who can't wrestle. New Japan does it with guys who can wrestle. There's a difference.
I mean, how do we know Great Muta can really wrestle, though? He was in a battle royal, and that was it. He didn't really have to do anything.
That's true, but...
You know, he was in a battle royal, and he also didn't look good. I'm just letting you know, the white hair coming out of his chest, I wasn't very keen on that. But it made him look old, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just some things you got to get rid of to not make you look that old, you know? It was about... Now, Liger can still go. I got to tell you, though, watch out if Okada accepts the match. Like, Liger comes out, does an open challenge as an opening match for night 2, gets the crowd into it, and Okada just comes out. The place will go crazy if that happens. And I think Okada would love to do the favor for him, for sure.
I'll agree with that, yeah. And see, you know how much I love Okada. I say it all the time. He's the best wrestler in the world, and he really is. And I think he can wrestle Perry Saturn's broomstick and put on a 5-star match. And I think if he wrestled Jushin Thunder Liger, it would still be an amazing match.
I definitely would put him in, like I said, I have a different... I like Will Ospreay is my favorite. That's just my...
I don't think you could go wrong with putting him there. Him, Okada, Kenny Omega, if you put any of those 3 number 1, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. You can't go wrong. And to me, Ospreay's the best, and I know you think Okada's it's all hand in hand. But we can agree on one thing, AJ Styles is no longer top 5 anymore, correct?
I very much disagree. On that one.
All right, guys. You take care. Have a good evening. Hold
on. I need Ron back in here. Where'd Ron go? Because I need Ron.
Oh.
Hold on. We need Ron.
Oh, what do you want? What do you want from me?
First off, Josh.
Yeah.
I gotta make you go,
Who?
You.
Me?
Yes.
Why?
You have to do it.
Why do I have to? I can't do that. I can do other Ron impersonations. Is Ron there?
Okay, good. Now, Ron, I'm going to make you go,
Why?
You have to do it.
This is weird.
I'm not doing it.
No, Ron, you have to go, Come on, Josh. There we go.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Ron knows.
We made him say,
Ron, you know, I do a very good impersonation. I do. When I do an impersonation of Ron, Mark agrees I do a very good one.
Good.
Yes, I practice it. Right when I leave the studio, I have the isms in my head.
Is the straight one? Is the straight Ron or the gay Ron?
The gay Ron. Okay. The gay Ron.
Don't show Melissa.
Oh no! The straight Ron is too serious. The straight Ron is too serious. The Gayron's the funny one. He's the low-key one. Ron, by the way, last thing, I asked Sean if those counted for my hours for the thing. He said, absolutely. I said, you bet your bottom dollar it does. I sat in the press box for 2 hours.
We had a football game. I don't know if you heard it. If you had a football, well, we didn't hear it because we didn't have it. Because
we didn't have it.
The refs never showed up.
That's great.
So poor Dan and I are sitting in the booth for like 2 hours, we did a pre-show. Poor Mark's in the studio. Also, Ron does his Essential 80s show. What'd you do, Essential 80s you did?
Yeah, he did some 80s, and then we officially had my Essential 80s started right on time at 2 p.m.
Yeah, and then I called Dan, then I called Sean. I said, Sean, I'm just assuming. I think the game is canceled. The ambulance just left.
And we both know from New Japan doing it, if you don't have a ambulance, you can't have a sporting event in New York.
We sat in the Manhattan Center for a wrestling event. It didn't start for an hour and 45 freaking minutes because an ambulance wasn't there.
Well, yeah, they have to have an ambulance there.
And then I said to myself, what are we doing here? Who starts at this time?
New Japan, they start at 3 a.m., bro.
They did start.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's their time. My time is...
No, they start at 3 a.m. our time, and normal time, their time.
Yes, I'm saying it's our normal time, their time, but on my ticket, it's at 7 p.m.? It didn't start at 7 p.m.
No, like 9 o'clock.
No, yeah, it was 9 o'clock, and they had to rush through some things, but I digress. Also, I wanted to say one last thing. I know you don't watch Impact Wrestling. I really want to talk about it next week.
I have to find a way to get access. I'm really mad.
Sami Callihan is one of the Lyle, and I said this to you, and I said it on the show last week. Sami Callihan is one of the best things in professional wrestling right now.
I agree, and I want to watch it more.
Believable.
I think it's still on Twitch.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
He literally, Tessa Blanchard came after he won the championship over Brian Cage. He spit in the air, landed on his face. He get her to go nose to nose on his face, and he stuck the middle finger at her. And I said, lovely. I said, this guy's really something else.
I like him already.
He's wonderful. And then he was on Fight Nation, and Dave LaGreca says he's my favorite wrestler right now, and Callahan goes, I don't give a crap what you say. I still can't stand you idiot. But it's awesome. Impact is doing so well. I really do want to get to see that 10-year show, so I can wear my Samoa Joe TNA shirt again. I have the old Samoa Joe 10-year TNA anniversary Samoan submission shirt, which is I get to pull out of the wood.
Hello?
It'll be great, so.
Awesome.
Yes. All right, guys. You have a good evening. Always a pleasure. Listen, Lyle, again, congratulations. Ron, keep being you. Don't let that guy touch anything.
I'll break it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll see you guys next week, all right? Enjoy the rest of the week.
Have a great night. Get some beauty sleep, please.
He needs a lot
of it. He needs a lot. I'm up at 5:30 teaching in the morning. Trust me, I need it. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.
That was Joshua Silverberg, who is normally the host of Takedown Breakdown, who called in to talk a little bit. Thank you, Josh. And just about time for our break. So we're going to be going to break now. This is WHPC 90.3 in Garden City, New York.
Takedown Breakdown.
Back after this.
We'll be right back.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Let me tell you about this fine show we have here at the station called Motormouth Radio. It is a car show hosted by Ray Guarino and Joe D. But you know what? It's not just cars. They sometimes talk about other things, and even when they're just talking about cars, it's about the love of cars. It's about the feeling you get. They open up a hood and they say, damn, I want to redo this engine. Not everyone says that. These guys do. And like I always say also, you watch those cooking shows, you don't cook, you can listen to these guys, not know anything about a car. So please listen to Motormouth Radio every Sunday, 12 noon, right here on WHPC. And if you don't listen, that's your fault. You'll go through the rest of the day saying, damn it, I didn't listen. I should have listened. Sort of like Motormouth Radio. You don't have to like cars to listen to them. It helps if you do, but you don't have to. Thank you.
Welcome back, wrestling fans. We are back on Takedown Breakdown. My name is Lyle Gillen. We're going to be talking about AEW Full Gear. I have to say, they have been doing an amazing job building up to this. I really love the Cody-Jericho rivalry. They've been doing a fantastic job. I love what they did a couple weeks ago when Jericho had the ticket and he was up in the press box, and then Cody, he wanted to had a big announcement, which I believe he's now going to be saying it this week, he's supposed to be saying a career announcement, so maybe it's that. And he went up there and attacked Chris Jericho. Everything about this has been so much fun to watch. It's just becoming a great rivalry, and the card looks really, really good. So I'm going to read off to you about what the card is. If I could open up my paper. Okay, it's Paige versus Pac. That match was, of course, originally supposed to be happening at Double or Nothing, and they did it at an indie show in the UK because Pac didn't want to put over Paige. And then they did one more time on Dynamite, and Pac won. And you know what? I think about this match, and I was thinking about it earlier today on who's actually going to be able to win, what's going to happen, and I can't stop thinking that Paige has to win. I think that match is going to happen more towards the beginning of the card. I think it could start off the show, and I'll get to my reason why later on. And I think Pac's going to win, and I don't think Paige, and I don't think they're going to have that many matches. I think it's going to be short amount of matches and very long matches. Paige is a guy that Chris Jericho said he was going to, in 6 months, be one of the biggest stars in wrestling. Now, how do you do that? A very, 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 very common formula is as a heel. And if you watch Being the Elite, I believe that is the path that Chris Jericho is going to go. Not Chris Jericho, Paige. And I think that he's going to become the first member to turn on the Elite, because you can't have the Elite being this group for such a long time. It has to end at one point. Someone has to leave. Someone has to be on their own. And if you watch Being the Elite, you have seen a few times that they have hinted at Paige being the one. Cody told them this week, hey, if you want to leave and be on your own, we're okay with it. You can still go. You can go off, do your own thing. And, Paige didn't really say no. He more so didn't really say anything. He kind of said okay, but not really okay. Like, he didn't know what he wanted to do. And it was a very interesting moment. Because I looked at it and I'm like, so, what's happening? Or is Paige going to be turning heel? Is Paige turning? But, how often in wrestling do they have a guy or a faction look like, so one guy is going to turn heel? They did WWE did it with the Shield. Everyone thought that Roman Reigns is going to be the one to turn, or Dean Ambrose, and it was Seth Rollins. Caught everyone from by surprise. And I look at this now, and I really, really for a long time thought that Paige was going to be the guy. It was going to be Paige turning on the Elite, but why can't it be Cody and the Elite turning on Paige? And then they replace him with MJF, or that's another whole storyline I'll get to later on. And they have the Elite be the heels. But that wouldn't make sense because you have the Inner Circle as the heel faction. Which is why, like I said before, Paige could turn heel on the Elite. And I think that is actually what's going to be happening at Full Gear. my thinking is that they're going to be having Cody and Jericho having an amazing match. I think they're going to be going 45 to 60 minutes. You know, I said earlier to my friend that it was going to be a 60-minute match and the judges were going to make the call. And he said, no, they're not going to do that the first time. So I'm actually going to agree with him. I still think it's going to be a 45 to 60-minute match. It's going to be a phenomenal match. It's going to be one of the best matches we've seen in a while. And I believe Jericho will win. And it's going to be by some type of interference from Adam Page. And I don't think that Page is going to be the guy to cause the final interference for the finish, but I think that Page is going to have some type of influence in the match, or even afterwards come out there and attack Cody. Something will happen at Full Gear. They've been hinting at it for a while. Even on the earlier Being the Elite episode, the Young Bucks called out Adam Page and said, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? And then they put him in a match with Kenny Omega versus I believe they faced Inner Circle. And, you know, it's just, I think he's the prime candidate to leave and be on his own. Even if you look at what he's been on Dynamite, he hasn't been doing that much with the Elite. For a little bit, I thought, hey, you know, maybe he'll do Kenny Omega. I think I mentioned it on the show once, which would be cool to go see him do his own thing and be more of the cleaner, which used to be in New Japan. And I thought, you know, if someone's going to turn heel right now and turn on the Elite, it's going to be Page. I think it's too obvious. I think it's standing right in front of us. They've been building up to it. It's going to be Page. And I think we'll see something happen Wednesday night on Dynamite about Adam Page. I think they're going to have a little bit of a hint at him turning heel. It's too obvious to me, in my opinion. And I really want it to happen. I think it'll be so cool. It'll be so good for AEW. And I'm going to be there at Full Gear. I'm making the trip down, leaving early Saturday. I'm not going to be at StarCast. It was crazy. It was like $200 just to get in. And that's not even counting meet and greets you're going to have with the guys you want to see. So, how much money are you going to spend? And that's $200, not for all the days there, for one day. That's insane. That's like going to Comic-Con. It was for a 4-day pass. It was $200 for a 4-day pass. That is kind of cheaper if you think about it. And Comic-Con is built up to be a really expensive thing. But hey, you know what? StarCast, if you are going down, it's an amazing, amazing thing. I've seen pictures. I've seen stuff all over. I've had friends tell me that they went and had an amazing time. I know people met CM Punk in Chicago. It's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime thing as a wrestling fan. And if you are going to be going, you're going to have an amazing time. Okay. Also on Full Gear, they're going to be having Proud and Powerful, which used to be LAX. It's going to be their first match, and who better to have it up against than, OC, but the Young Bucks are the best tag team in the world, period. And it's going to be the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful, and that's going to be an amazing match. If you have seen LAX when they were on TNA and they had a phenomenal rivalry with the Lucha Bros, I think that this match could definitely steal the show. You know, Young Bucks do something every single time. And, you know, I tried to think earlier when I was looking over the card who I thought could win this match. And I can't think of it. I can't. There are ways to think, hey, you know what? The Young Bucks could win. But then that's bad for the Inner Circle. It's bad for Proud and Powerful. It's their first match. They need a victory. They need to start off with a victory. Ultimately, I think Proud and Powerful will win, which I don't think it's the best thing in the world for the Young Bucks. And you know what? If you're one of those fans out there and you go, hey, they're part of the Elite, they're putting themselves over on everybody and they're beating everybody. Well, I'm telling you right now, they put over Private Party. And if they lose this match, they're going to be putting over Proud and Powerful. That's 2 out of the last 3 matches that they would have lost. So please tell me I'm not counting this week coming up, by the way. But please tell me how they're putting themselves over on everybody, because I don't see it. I don't see anyone doing it. I don't see it at all. I see Cody, he's pushing himself as one of the top stars, but you know what? He's Cody Rhodes. He's going to be one of the top stars in the company. Like, people expect these guys, sometimes when you hear them talk, to just come in and be like, la-di-da-di-da, I'm gonna go out there and lose every match, but I'm actually one of the best wrestlers in North America. That's not how it works in wrestling. You don't take your Kenny Omegas, your John Moxleys, your best wrestlers, and have them lose just because, we're in charge. That's stupid. It's a stupid argument that some fans make. But I'm going on a tangent. I'm going to stop that. Back to the topic. I think that Proud and Powerful is actually going to ultimately win. Young Bucks have put over some guys a few times, and I think they're going to do it again to Proud and Powerful. And then I think they're going to go on to face SCU for the tag team titles. I think that's going to be where they're going to go next, which will be a great match. Both tag teams are so good. I'm a huge fan of the Young Bucks. I'm wearing the teal joke shirt that they've been making Matt wear, and hey, Josh makes fun of me for it every now and then. And hey, you know what? I love the shirt. It's awesome. It was $18 for a Young Bucks shirt, and I thought it was hilarious. The shirt. It looks like a 10-year-old made it. Like, come on, that's like the Young Bucks. They have a few shirts that look like kids made them, and I love the shirt. So Josh, if you're still listening, shove it. And the other match, which I haven't spoken about yet, when I originally wrote down everything, I thought, you know what, the match that has to be the main event is going to be the Cody versus Jericho match, but it's not. The fact of the matter is, Kenny Omega versus John Moxley is in a lights-out match, and every time they have done it, it has been after every other match. It's been the final match. They turn off the lights, and that is the final match. And, it kind of sucks for John Moxley, because this would be a second match that doesn't count towards your win-loss record. And that really sucks, because he beat the bad boy Joey Janela in match, which was an unsanctioned match. And now if he beats Kenny Omega, that'll be another one. And they showed the video of him being really mad, and he has every right to be. You're going to be facing a top 3 wrestler in the world, and it's going to be an unsanctioned match, so it's not going to count towards your win-loss record? Come on. You got to put other stars in the main event picture. If Jericho loses, who else is next? Who would face him next? Paige again? We've seen that before. John Moxley would have been a great choice. But you know what? He can't. Because he's going to have, one match under his belt? Come on. This match should have been a hardcore, some type of match where there's no rules, but it's legal and it counts towards your win-loss record. But ultimately, I think that John Moxley's going to win, and he's going to get on a rampant rage because it doesn't count. I think that match is going to be insane. This entire card is going to be nuts. I'm sorry, but if you haven't watched an AEW pay-per-view yet, order this pay-per-view. It's going to blow your mind away. Kenny Omega versus John Moxley is not something we thought would happen not too long ago. And now we get it? Just, wow. Honestly, I can't wait. It was supposed to happen at All Out. Obviously, it did not. John Moxley was injured. But we get it at full gear, and they've done a great job of keeping that storyline alive. Unfortunately, they had an incident happen where it happened after TV time ended, but John Moxley and Omega had a little thing after the Moxley match a couple weeks ago, and they're still a new company, so they're still trying to get the kinks out. They're not going to be perfect from day one, but they probably had a match that accidentally went a little too long, and they had to. It ended up getting cut out. It really sucks, and it would have been awesome to watch. And I don't expect them to make that mistake again. And I know I mentioned them earlier. You had the SCU as the tag team champions. They only have 4 matches right now for a pay-per-view. So I don't think that's going to be the final card. I think they're going to have either a women's match or a tag team championship match happen at Full Gear. They haven't announced anything yet. They could still announce it this week. But I can't wait. I'm like I said, I'm going to the show. Actually, the person I'm going with, we got first ever caller, Scott from Bayside, and we're going to be going down. We're going to be watching the show. It's going to be a good one. We rented this house in, I don't know the exact city, but it's like a 20-minute walk from the arena, which is in Baltimore. I've never been to Baltimore. I've been past Baltimore. I went to D.C., part of the DMV area. And it's a townhouse. It's a small house. We got a pretty good deal on it. Only $70 a night for one night. You know, hey, a lot of places, what they do is in hotels down, when there's big wrestling shows, they'll hike up the prices. So $70 for a room, that's not terrible at all. You look at it, and it's me, him, and his girlfriend. So, or fiance. I'm sorry. Sorry, Scott, if you're listening. But it's me, him, and his fiance, and we're going down, then we're coming up the next day, and we're sacrificing, because we're both Islanders season ticket holders, the New York Islanders Meet the Team event, which we planned this wrestling trip before they announced it. Usually they do it in March or February, but nope, had to do it the one day I'm not going to be around. Thank you, New York Islanders, for screwing me over. But hey, you know what? I've met most of them before. It's okay. Well, I don't know if you guys have really been watching much Ring of Honor, but you know, not too long ago they have been they had Matt Taven and as the Ring of Honor champion, and he was supposed to leave. There was a rumor that his contract was up and he was going to be leaving, and so what they did was they took the belt off of him. And that's really what sparked the rumor. Everyone thought that he was going to be leaving. Everyone wondered, you know, they wouldn't put the belt on Marty Scurll because they thought he was going to leave, which he's probably going to go to AEW. And now why would they have had the belt on Taven if he was going to leave? And so they took the belt off him, put it on Roosh, and now a few days ago, the Kingdom went kaput. It broke up. Vinny turned on them and attacked them, and you know I love it. I think Matt Taven is one of the best in the indies right now. I think he's very, very, very underrated. I think he's an amazing heel, and he should stay a heel. If they make him a face for that company, it's not going to go well. I don't think it will. I still think he can go out and put on great matches, but I don't think it'll be as good as him being a heel. When you have a heel and the crowd is chanting F you at you, that it's working. You should keep that going. And they were doing that for a while. No one liked him. And it's just a shame. It's a shame that they're breaking it up. I loved watching the Kingdom. I thought it was a very good stable, a very good heel stable, and honestly though, I will say I can't wait to see what Vincent does. I think he's gonna be very good. I liked his look. He looked cool. He looked like some guy. He looked like he should. I don't like comparing it to other companies like this, but he looked like he belonged in the Wyatt family. That's literally what he looked like, and it's gonna be interesting. Taven made out a Facebook post, and he said that Orion he wished him luck, and from the Kingdom said he'll always be part of the Kingdom forever. And then he said, "Vinny, screw you." And I'm trying to paraphrase it for for radio, 'cause I can't say what he's really saying, but that's what he said. He told him, screw you, he hates him, and you know what, that's actually going to be a good rivalry, and I hope to see that soon. It's going to be a good one. So, like I said earlier, you know, I was at Raw tonight, and I mentioned something to my friend that I brought with me. And it's kind of an epiphany, and I was joking around, but it's true. It's very, very true. Look back in the 90s, all these guys who are New Japan fans, all these guys that are AEW fans or Ring of Honor fans, they fell in love with the Attitude Era. They fell in love with WCW. They fell in love with Monday Night Raw. They fell in love with all that stuff, and you look back, what did that show target? Adults. They target the adults, the people that were 18 to 49 range. Right now, AEW, they're doing very well in that category. The ratings have been great in that category. So, I made it as a joke. It's the circle of life. When you're a young kid, you start off, you watch WWE, even from today. You watch WWE, get hooked to wrestling. Then you get older and you start to use the internet. So you're like, oh, well, I'll look up some wrestling. And you see New Japan. You see Ring of Honor. You see AEW. And then you realize, yo, WWE has their champion throwing pancakes. I'm growing up. I don't want to see that. And then you start watching New Japan, Ring of Honor, AEW. So, and then that guy, when he grows up, he has the kids, he wants to have them watch wrestling. The kids watch WWE. And they get older. And then they watch the shows geared towards adults. AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor. It's just the circle of life of wrestling. You start off watching WWE. And it happens to everybody. When I started watching wrestling, I was watching WWE. And you know what? I was one of those guys who went around saying, WWE is the best at everything. It is the best. I've said it before. I went to G1 Supercard. And then I went to WrestleMania and I saw some of the stuff. I'm like, you know, some of the stuff is really corny. It's really corny. And I'm not going to try and put down the WWE roster at all, because if WWE wanted to, they could have every pay-per-view be 5-star matches, every pay-per-view be a 5-star pay-per-view, and have phenomenal matches and blow every show away, which is why it's so frustrating to everybody out there. You have Ricochet, you have Aleister Black, you have AJ Styles, you have Daniel Bryan, you have some phenomenal guys who are big names in Ring of Honor and New Japan, those companies that these adults watched. And you go watch the show, and what are they doing? They're doing things to target children. These guys that you thought were a bad dude are now doing stuff to gear towards children. And honestly, that's why so many people, they watch it and they don't expect much of it. I went to Raw tonight. I looked up my friend, you know what? This ain't a bad Raw. It's actually pretty solid. Why? Why was it pretty solid? For one reason. They had NXT stars on that show. Who does NXT target? What age group does NXT target? NXT targets 18 to 49 range. Adults. Same group that AEW targets, same group that New Japan targets, the same group that Ring of Honor targets. So, why can't WWE do that with everyone else on the main roster? Why can't they try and make it a more adult targeting show? And you know, you don't have to make storylines that are like the Rusev, Bobby Lashley storyline to make it more adult targeting, because you know what? Only the people that hate that storyline are the people that watch AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor. They don't want to see that crap. They want to see good wrestling. And you know what? The other three companies, they give it to you every show. You might look at Ring of Honor and say, I don't know one guy on that roster. But, hey, you know what? They still put out amazing shows. They have great shows. I went to the show at Manhattan Center with Josh. It was phenomenal. It was a great show, and I can't wait till they come back, because I will be going again. I wasn't let down at all. It was a great show. That's the thing with Ring of Honor. They don't have the names to draw you in, because they all have to went to AEW, but they will still put on a show. Everyone says, oh, you know what, they're going to die. They're not selling tickets. You know what? They're not going to die. They won't. For the one reason that they are still going to be putting on good shows. They're going to make someone a big star again. They've had it happen to them time after time. They lose big names. And what do? They turn right back around. And they sell out buildings all over again. That's what Ring of Honor does. They will always do. And WWE needs to find a way to start targeting the adult audiences and attract them in, because most of them are very, very off-put by WWE right now. In my opinion, they need to go back to 3 hours, and they need to, go back to 2 hours, not 3 hours, and they need to try and put better matches on in that shorter period of time. You look at the New Japan shows, you look at the AEW shows. They have these great matches every single card. Well, why can't WWE do it? Why do they have to have a women's tag match that, what was it, like 30 minutes, and it was slow as can be? Why? They need to get away from that. That's not wrestling today. Well, on that note, we're going to be going to our finisher. And this evening, my finisher is New Japan. They are probably, no, I'm going to change that. They're definitely the best going company right now in professional wrestling. And it's a shame, because not many people can watch it because they're on so early in the morning. But if you're a WWE purist who does not watch other companies, I implore you to go to New Japan World, order it for just 1 month. It's less than $10 for their subscription, for their video on demand service, and go and watch Kenny Omega versus Okada at Dominion in 2018. It was over an hour, and the match is probably one of the greatest matches you'll ever see in professional wrestling, and you'll be hooked. Go watch that match. Thank you for listening tonight, guys. This is Takedown Breakdown, and we'll see you next week.